they boosted it. And then I put some boards in here, and I found a way to raise everything. So I found levers to raise the rear, the front. Oh, this is one scary machine, no doubt about that. And this is the type of truck I drove. It's called tilt and load. See, his bed goes back at the ground, and he's using his winch to drag the generator. And then all he does is he drops the front of his deck and moves it forward, and that's it. Now you see? That's the most popular tow truck in North America is this type. It's used especially for expensive imported cars, and for cheap cars they just use a regular tow truck that just lifts the front and drags it. Oh yeah, I see, the guy already loaded. Oh, he's just moving his... Yeah, it's a bit far. Where is he? Oh, he's just moving it away from the road, because this guy over here looks like they're getting the goods in for the next auction. And this guy just brought a very old, ugly crane. Actually, wait a second. He's unhooking. Oh, I see what's going on. And this, the guy has a mechanical detach, and it's a pain to watch these guys work, because it takes him two times longer than me to unhook, because first he has to unhook entirely from the gooseneck, and he opens those rings in there, turns them over, and then he hooks back, and only then he can take the gooseneck off the trailer. So it's like so you have to disconnect all your hoses. That's so stupid, you know, like between the truck and the trailer, all the air hoses, you know, and of course then you have to disconnect the hoses between the gooseneck and the trailer. Too much work. One thing is missing, it's coffee. And I'm in the middle of nowhere pretty much. I looked up on Google Maps, used my location, 2.6 kilometers or 1.5 miles to the nearest Tim Hortons. It's too far to walk because it's still cold, and yeah, our guy brought blocks. He still blocked the track, he says. We're waiting for the wrecker, but he blocked the track, so now the machine sits, it's much safer now. So the left track is sitting on blocks now, not just 1.5 inch of my deck. And we have the chain on the other side, so just looking at him here. And so yeah, so I called, what do you do? I don't want to walk around. I was thinking they have some maybe coffee machine somewhere here. And I called the main phone line, like the reception desk where all these ladies are sitting. And I asked them, I explained to them that, you know, I still have to wait here like probably 2 hours. I'm the trucker with this road machine, and I cannot drive my truck. And I said, well, come to the office and we'll make you coffee. I said, you have a coffee machine there, like maybe? She says, no, we have a, you know, employee coffee machine. I'll make you coffee. And I look at my dash, and I had my old Tim Hortons cup. So I said, hey, I have my old cup. I'll bring it over. She said, okay. So I went there. She gave me coffee. You know. Now we're all good. I just wanted to show you guys some amazing machine sitting next to me. So this is a Caterpillar 637, I think. It's one of those kind of like a grader where it drops the bottom and the bottom just cuts the ground and gets all the dirt in here, and then it can open the rear, I think, and drop it somehow. It's huge tires. That's my truck is over there. That's the machine. Let's go see some mine trucks. We have two Cat 350E Caterpillar. So 3-axle single tires. Massive machine, and it's one of those articulating ones, so that's how you get in the cab. So just single person cab, very small, all hydraulics. Oh, here's a bigger one, much bigger, Cat 773D. Wow. So this one has dual tires on the back. So that's how you climb, because there's no other way to climb here. Now look at the size of the tire. The tire is taller than me, and it has 6 of these. Oh boy. No, this is what I'm talking about. This is a real truck. Okay, I'm gonna take a picture for the Instagram. Well, it's 5:20 p.m. I was here since yesterday 3 o'clock, and despite some difficulties, finally this beast of a machine is on the deck. And there was a lot of weight on the drives. I started driving just like this, and I saw probably like 55,000 pounds. So I stopped and moved my fifth wheel. So I dropped the suspension, dropped the trailer on the ground, and then I locked the fifth wheel, and from here moved it here, right? So now the descent is here, so this way I could drop my pusher, put 20,000 pounds in there, 60 psi, and finally the pressure became more or less normal on these. And the dealer for these is in Canada is Wagex. The guy just stopped by here and he gave me some tips. He said, "Oh, I'm so happy to see this machine going." "Where is it going?" I said, "Thailand." He said, "Oh, good. So I don't have to service it." And he said actually this part was heavier. I was asking about, like, you see I put it like this, and he says this part is heavy because the engine is there, and he said this is where the water and fuel go. So, and plus we removed the conveyor. Yeah, I had a new one like this, but on wheels, if you remember. See those knives over there? And I put a board, and they're barely touching, but if it starts sliding, because it's all sits, the height of those, like little knives, depends on this. And I figured out everything. See these? See this black? That means front left, front right. So when you go this way, it lowers this. Like on this end, on the front, you cannot lower them simultaneously. So I put 8 chains, so 4 pairs of chains. That should be good for what, 11 times 4, 44, 88,000 pounds. And this machine weighs about 70, I'm thinking. But now I'm gonna go to through the scale. Oh yeah, over here, see, it's all these controls. You just have to look at the black dot. So, which is pretty easy to do even when you're an idiot. So I figured this out. But on this side, see, this is the back. See, the dots are together. So you pull this way, and this whole thing together, they go down. If you pull this way, together they go up. See, but on the front, I thought I was missing something, so I asked this Wajax guy, who he's just renting a parking over here. See, he parks right next to the Richard Brothers office. But he said something is wrong. He said if he remembers correctly, he knows this machine. You know, he knows this number. And he said, if I remember correctly, there was something with the steering. You know, the tracks. Even if you can lock it, there's an option to lock them. But he says on this machine it doesn't work, so you cannot lock it. That's why they start turning. You know, and this side is a little bit off. It's a little bit closer that way, but it's okay because I'll be driving in the curb lane, so the truck will be tilted this way. So it's actually better to have the machine just slightly off center, but on the back it's fine, or on the front rather. So anyway, so yeah, 2 chains, 4 chains in the front, 4 in the back. There's nothing in here, and this thing has these huge eyes, 2 here, 2 there. But I wanted to climb in there and put a chain, but then you have this. So that's not for tie downs, that's for the crane. Because you see over there that there's a picture with the crane, with the hook, and it's pointing that way. Over here there's a picture pointing down, so this is for tie downs. That's for the crane, so you're not supposed to use that for tie downs, because I don't want to damage it any more than it is damaged, right? Because it's all rusty and old and ugly. So I just hope that the buyer will be happy with this, his new baby, and that the machine maybe will behave better in a warm climate of Thailand. I don't think it liked Canada winters. We had to boost the battery each time we wanted to start it. So my big plan now, based on the suggestion of this Wajax guy, he says normally they just lift them with a crane. He says I'm surprised this time, because they have all kinds of cranes in here that they don't tell you about. And my big game plan is, when I arrive at the port, I'm gonna play the inadequate steering card and get them to lift it, because port has cranes. Don't get me started on that one. So 2 hooks in there and 2 hooks in there, right next to the mirror. That's it. And then of course I have to drop the suspension so that my airbags don't explode. All right, and I only had 1 coffee whole day. That's another reality of trucking, right? So I had food yesterday, but I didn't buy enough because I never thought I'd be here all day. Okay, my signs are here. Oversized, yes sir. Everything's good. This baby is pretty dirty. We have to wash this one of these days. All right. Time to rock and roll. No time for permits today, because all the offices, by the time I got out of the auction, you know, I just drove off, because I know the gate is already closed. They close at 5, and I still had to put some chains on, so I just slowly drove out, put the rest of the chains on, my signs, my flags, and then I discovered that those knives, those bits, before they were resting on the board, and now I just drove half a kilometer, I look underneath, that board is loose. Oh boy, so I had to find my strap, and just tie that board down so that if they do go down a little bit, those bits, there's those cutting bits, they're not gonna sit on my trailer, but they're gonna be on the board.